already on right now. Just give us a couple minutes. We're getting everything set up here, so just give me a couple minutes, guys. All right, can you hear me, Paulo?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, man.
Sweet. Hey, man, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with this. Let me go ahead and bring this up for you, and for everyone that was invited. My name is Nicholas Boggs. You know, I'm one of the alpha spouses that you've seen. The alpha wife, she's actually not here right now, so I'm going to be doing the presenting for you and basically sharing with you what's that number one problem, that's going on and growing your business and the solution to it. And what we've got today is basically it's entrepreneurial selling, and there's a difference between that regular selling and entrepreneurial selling. So the purpose of my training today is to be able to show you the difference between the uh, the actual just regular selling like in a retail environment versus what is entrepreneur selling, because you get in these online businesses and a lot of us we don't actually treat them like a business when they actually are a business. So let me go ahead and let me get back to sharing my screen for you and pop up this training we're going to do for you. All right, so like I said, we are actually the alpha spouses. My name's Nick. My beautiful wife, her name is Ophelia, and these are just some pictures of us, our family. We do got 4 kiddos, wonderful little kiddos, tough little kiddos. They run us ragged, but they're the reason that we do everything that we do. And just a little bit about us. Me specifically, I actually worked in sales for about 10 years, and I did that through automotive sales for the majority of time, and also retail sales. And it was good. It was good money. I was bringing in 5 figures or close to 5 figures every month. But the problem was I never had time. And there was actually, when my son was 2 years old, there was a whole year that I missed of his life. When I had walked away from that car dealership at the time and looked back on it, I had realized that I didn't have any memories of my son that whole year when he was a baby, and it killed me and it broke my heart. And so at that point I started thinking, what else can I do? What else can I do? And I I went into some other jobs, and other sales jobs, and every place it just ended up being the same thing. It was tons of time, tons of hours, and they expected that to be the most important thing in your life when it wasn't. And that just it just wasn't working for me. That wasn't my point in life. That wasn't my purpose. So I thought, what else? I eventually went back to school, and I did graduate. I thought, hey, my purpose is to help people, and it is, but it wasn't in that way. And we ended up going kind of broke when I was in school because school cost a lot of money, and now we had a huge debt from it. And my wife was working just a minimum wage job at the time too. So I did actually start marketing back in 2012. That was kind of in between the jobs, and I was like, I'm gonna be rich. This is super awesome. I jumped on. I started blasting everything, and it didn't work. It did not work for me. It was I failed. I mean, just plain and simple. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was gonna get rich. Oh, look at this, but it didn't work. But now it is working, and that's what I want to share with you. What we found out, what we've learned. It's pretty awesome, and I do also want to share with you this failure that we had in 2013. Um, this was after we started, the marketing and stuff like that online. And my wife was she was still working. And, this wasn't just a business failure or a work failure. This was a life failure for us. It was tough. I was inundated with trying to figure out how to take our family to the next level, and I didn't pay attention, a ton to my family, and I hadn't for a long time because of those sales jobs, and I never meant to, but I did. And my wife eventually she kind of checked out. I wasn't there, I wasn't around for her to give her the attention and the time, that she wanted from me. And just to put it nicely, and my wife, she's not afraid for me to tell anyone this now. She checked out from the family. She made the worst mistake she could possibly make, and with that, came everything. The bank accounts got drained. The businesses went under. I couldn't even focus on that. I just had to go back, get a job, make sure my family, my kids, had a roof over their head because we actually lost our house too. And I had to be able to feed them and take care of them because it was only me at that point. And it was tough. It was really, really tough. But luckily, throughout that process, I reconnected with my church and with God. And if you're not a God person, I, I am, and it came through this failure. So I want to share this with you. And it brought us back, and I just started praying a lot. I started thinking a lot. I started praying, because you can't fight that what do you call it, that flesh battle when there's a spiritual war going on, and that's what was happening to my wife. And she came out of the haze. She came back, and we worked things out, and we united. And to be honest, it's better than it was. And now this is 11 years in, and since that time, it's been amazing, to be honest, because we both are on the same page. And I share that because she was in a bad spot. We were in a bad spot, and she came out of it. She climbed out of that deep valley, and she rose to this peak, and she's just been on fire since then. And it's amazing to see what she's done to go from that rock bottom, and then in the short amount of time to jump up to the top of the mountain with me. And we've been able to do this together. So it's just super, super awesome. Um, so what we're talking about is basically the number one problem growing your business. And to be honest, it's your marketing and your selling strategy. I mean, that's it. It's plain and simple. So we'll just move on. What we're going to talk about is entrepreneurial selling. And there's 5 key points that I actually want to hit on: the sales strategic context, entrepreneurial sales model, the art of conversation, what's your story, the story matrix. And I'll go into these, and you'll get a little explanation on all of them. So to start off, basically the sales strategic context. What is it? It's when we jump into this online business and marketing, we have decided to become entrepreneurs. And, a lot of people don't view it that way, but it's the truth. We are now entrepreneurs. We're not in a job. We're not in a sales job anymore. It's completely different. So we can't just sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to throw this little sales video out there, or this little presentation that the company has, and my job's done. It doesn't work like that. It's different. You are now an entrepreneur. You got to know your audience. You got to know your buyer, what their goals are. What stage of the process are they in their thinking? How are you going to reach them? What channels are you going to reach them through? Um, and then what's your strategy to actually get a hold of them? How are you going to do it? Why are you going to do it? Where? What? And entrepreneurship, it's hard. It's difficult. And sales is hard and difficult, but the truth is, we got to get good at both of them. But the great news is neither one of these, marketing, selling, or even entrepreneurship, they're not talents, they're skills. And the great news about that is skills can be learned, they can be trained, and once you do, you have that skill forever. There's a little saying I've heard from a guy named Eric Thomas. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him or watched any of his videos. Super, super awesome. But he says, better is a book than a well-built house. And I love that. I love it because if you think about it, okay, fine, you got a well-built house. Eventually, things are going to break. Eventually, things are going to wear out. Eventually, things are going to fade. If you don't know how to fix them, that house is going to turn into not a well-built house anymore. In fact, a crappy house eventually. So, what he's saying is knowledge is power. If you've got the knowledge, you can rebuild that house. You can create a house. You can make a better house. So better is a book than a well-built house. So let me actually jump off here real quick. Paulo, is there anything that you actually, you want to share on any of that?
Hey, what's up, man? No, I'm just you're just crushing it, man. I'm just enjoying watching this. If you guys are watching this, the cool thing about Nick is that I would be listening to what he's sharing with you guys because this guy is not just sharing just knowledge with you, but he's sharing with you experimental knowledge because he's actually applied this into his own business and he's gotten results. So I would really break any distractions and really zone in on what he's sharing with you because this is some really good stuff, man. And he's taking his time right now to share this with you because he cares about you.
Awesome. Thanks, Paulo. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and move on here. So basically, what I'm going to talk about here is the entrepreneurial sales model. Okay, we're in a different class. If you're truly wanting to do this, and you're wanting to be successful with your online business, your online marketing, you have to change your perception. You are an entrepreneur now, and it's different. You have a different type of sales model, and I'm going to show that to you right now today. So the entrepreneurial sales model, if you look at it, starting out, there's actually the targeting at the beginning. And with the targeting, as an entrepreneur, you need to prepare up front. You need to have that preparation in place. What am I going to do? Do your research. The preparation and research, they kind of go hand in hand. But what's your target market? What are you going after? If let's say you're selling some sort of weight loss product, right? You need to prepare for that. You need to do your research on that. Who's your target market? Okay, well, weight loss products, obviously they're going to be for overweight people, so that's the target market you need to do your research on, and then figure out, okay, how am I going to reach them? Through what mediums am I going to reach them? So and that's your target market. That's going to help get you better results. And then as you go along, you're going to want to filter that down through what's working best for you as you go through the process. And all these kind of line up, they kind of mix in, but you'll see. So once you do that, you've done your preparation, your research, and your filter. Now it's time to get on to the execution of it. That's where you're going to start creating your leads and stuff like that. Now, a big thing before the leads is traffic. You do need traffic, and of course, you can blindly go out there and do it and get some traffic. But the problem with that is if you do that, they're not going to stick around, and that's a part of your targeting. If you do the targeting right, you're going to get those leads to stick around. And traffic is actually something that we do. We do a lot of training on. Paulo's a great guy. I've been learning from him, and about traffic. So that's something we do teach also is the traffic and bringing that in the right traffic and then the lead generation. And with the lead generation, you want to qualify these leads afterwards. You want to, are they a good fit? Is this what's going to work? And are they? Is it someone you're going to be wanting to spend your time on? Are they actually going to invest in themselves? Or do they have a vested interest in what they're doing? So you need to qualify those people when you get them in and make sure that you are actually spending your time correctly. I don't know if you've ever heard the Apple stories, but I'm gonna share this with you. I heard this from someone one time, and I don't remember who it was, but there's three. As far as people, there's three types of people, and we relate this to apples. Okay, so you've got your red apples, you've got your green apples, and then you've got your sour apples. So your red apples are the ones that are ready to go. They're sweet, they're juicy, and you can eat them right away. They're ready. They're ready to go. Then you've got your green apples. They're a little bit sour. They're dipping their toe in just a little bit. It's kind of good. Those are those people that they still got a bunch of questions. They want a bunch of research. And real quick here, if you have green apples that you're working with, answer them. I would say maybe 5 times, and then after that, you need to just basically say, there you go, take it or leave it, because with the green apples, they're going to start wasting your time too. And then there's the sour apples, of course. The sour apples, it doesn't matter what you do, they're never going to taste good. Nothing's ever going to, it's just not going to happen. So those are a complete waste of time. And so you want to appropriate your time correctly. And the way you want to do this is you want to appropriate 90% of your time, or you can even follow the 80-20 rule that kind of goes with everything. But I say 90% of your time to those red apples because they're ripe and they're ready to go. And then dedicate the rest of that time, that 10 or 20%, to those sour apples. And maybe you can convert them to red apples. So that's with the execution. And then, so once you get through that, you're going to start your proposal. That's basically your presentation, whatever it is. Now, in some cases, I know a lot of people, they want to use the company's presentations. They want to use their videos and their capture pages and stuff like this. And they do work sometimes. They do. I'm not going to lie about that. But the problem is everyone uses those presentations or those proposals. So if there's one bad apple out there that's doing those proposals or presentations incorrectly, it makes that company look bad. So you want to do your presentations through you. It's about you. When you get in business, no matter what business it is, it's the business of you. Mine and my wife's, and this took us a long time, and we've recently found this out. Is it wasn't about this business XYZ company. It was about us. We are the business, and we've learned that. And so we've branded ourselves. We're the alpha spouses, and it's no longer about the company. It's about us. It's our presentation. We want to make sure we're presenting what we want to present to the people. That way they get our message. We're bringing in the people that we want to bring in, the leads that we want to bring in, and the people that we want to work with. And so that's a whole part of that process that I'm talking about here. And then after that, after you have that proposal or that presentation, you're going to move into your closing. And that's basically where you're doing your sales pitch. You're going into your closing, and you get it, right? So there's your closing. And then after that, you got to reset. You start the process over again. So when you reset, you want to do a little bit of analysis. You want to measure your results. And with online, you've got ways to track this. And this is something that we do teach also throughout some of our trainings and stuff like that. That way you can see what's working, what's not working, where to apply your time, where to apply your money, and where not to, because you don't want to waste time and money, especially time. That's the one thing you're never going to get back. So you measure it, then you reset, and you start again. Now moving on to the next one here. This is actually the art of conversation. And, this is a pretty big deal, because a lot of people don't think about this when they get in business. And, it's kind of weird. I mean, even when I did my sales jobs, it took me a long time to get this down. Um, and, and you don't even think about this though, but the majority of your day when you're awake is spent in conversation. And roughly, it's about 70 to 80% of your time is spent in conversation, whether it's verbally, whether it's through text, chat, Facebook, whatever. You are in conversation with people. Now, the problem is that not many of us have actually been trained for conversation. Now, I was a little bit lucky through my sales jobs. I got trained on and it took some time. Um, but not many of us have actually been trained in conversation. So when we start these businesses, we don't know how to talk to people. We don't know how to approach these people. We don't know what to say to them because we're not trained in it. And that's something you have to learn as an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, you are selling stuff. It always comes down to that in the end. And you got to know how to talk to people. You got to know how to conversate with them. Now, with that, you don't just want to have a regular conversation. You don't just want to talk to them. You want to have impact conversation. And the way you want to do that is up front. When you're talking to someone about your business and you're taking your time, you want to have what's called a purpose/benefit check. And this is a big deal, not just for you, not just for the other person, for both of y'all. You let them know what the purpose of your conversation is. And that way, up front, your consumer or your prospect, excuse me, they can decide, okay, this wasn't what I wanted to actually hear. This wasn't what I was looking for. So I actually don't want to be here, and so that's going to save them their time. It's going to save you the time from wasting it on someone who's not even supposed to be there. So, let people know why you're talking to them. Let them know the purpose. Let them know the benefits they're going to get out of the conversation or your presentation up front. That way you can keep the qualified ones there. Now, when you are talking to them and when you're doing a presentation, whatever the case is, you don't just want to ask questions. You want to ask impact questions. And some examples here for you, here's an example. So you say someone's watching. I'll go with my presentation right now. So basically, I could ask you, how's my presentation going, right? And you could jump on. Paulo could jump on here and say, like earlier, it's good. It's going good, right? It sounds good. Not a ton of impact there. It was an open-ended question. Or you could consider it a yes/no question. They could say yes, it's good, or no, it sucks. Whatever. I'm tired of listening to this guy. But you want to ask impact questions. So basically, with what you've learned so far up to this point in this presentation, how is that? What are you going to change in your business right now? In silence now. Okay, so the point is, with that type of question, it gets you thinking. Okay, well, I learned this. He talked about this, and I can apply this. And so now they're thinking. You're thinking about, well, what can I use? What was valuable there? And they're thinking about your business. They're thinking about your product, your service, and how it can benefit them, how it can work for them. So that's the point of those impact questions. Get them thinking about what you've already talked about. Get them thinking about your service, your product, your presentation, and align it in their mind with them. how's it going to benefit them? And then afterwards, of course, you're going to qualify again. And you always want to qualify, and that's just a huge thing because of your time. Your time, it's valuable. It's the one thing you're never going to get back, and that's kind of why I shared that story a little bit about my son earlier. And I didn't realize it early on in my young adult life. If I would have qualified my time correctly, I wouldn't have missed a year of his life, which kills me. I'll never get it back. I'll never get it back. That stage, all I get is pictures, and I wasn't there. So don't waste your time. Qualify. It's important. All right. Next part. What's your story? And this is important. What is your story? And the reason I want to share this with you is because if you jump online, and I'm sure you've seen this, if you're in a business, if you've tried the jumping on Facebook in the groups and posting stuff up in groups and stuff like that, facts. All you're seeing is facts. This is awesome. This costs this. You can do this. It's just facts. And in the whole world, we're inundated with facts. I mean, it's always coming at us. Commercials. This new phone has this feature. This does this. This does this. Just facts. They're just coming in left and right, and it gets to the point of information overload for people. So facts are good up to a certain extent, but you don't need the facts really up front. It's not about the facts. What you're looking for is the context of the story, not the facts of the story, the context of the story. And the reason being is because context equals emotion. That's a huge deal because emotion is powerful. When you reach people on an emotional level, you are reaching their emotions, you're touching their heart, you're painting that picture for them, and that's what actually gets to them. So let me actually, I had a story I wanted to tell you on this. Let me find it here real quick. I actually had to write this down because it's a real good story, so I wanted to read it word for word for you. All right, here you go. Yeah, it was actually a study that came out of Carnegie Mellon in 1997. So 2 women and a man actually walked into 3 researchers. They walked into this undergrad student center at Carnegie Mellon, and they said, "Hey, undergrads, we're going to take a survey of how you use technology, and it'll take 6 or 8 minutes. For your troubles, we're going to give you $5." And they got hundreds of people to take the survey. They took the survey, and 2 undergrads would walk out. Let's say me and my friend. And my friend said, "Hey, Nick, did you give any of that money to Rokai and Save the Children?" And, to be honest, that would be confusing to me. I'd say, "I gave some money to Save the Children, but Rokai, what are you talking about? Rokai, what is that?" And my friend, she would say, "Well, in my envelope with my 5 $1 bills, I got a pledge form from Save the Children." And it was a story about this 9-year-old girl called Rokai in Malawi, Africa, who is dying of a waterborne illness. And it's entirely treatable. And it was just a little bit about her story. And then it said Save the Children. And so I gave her some money. Did you? Well, in my envelope that had my 5 $1 bills, I also had a pledge form for Save the Children. But it said, "In Malawi, Africa, on an annual basis, there are 9 million cases of waterborne illnesses, 11 million cases of malaria, entirely treatable, blah, blah, blah. Save the Children." And yeah, I gave them some money. Now, here's the deal. It wasn't a study about technology at all. It was actually a study about the power and influence of story. And here's what happened with the study. Accounting for loose change in people's pockets. Fact guy, me, on average, gave $1.14. Now, my friend, on average, the story friend, gave $2.38. Now, that's a huge difference from what we know about the impact of facts and the impacts of story. That is over double the amount. So that, like I said, that's the power of story, and that study is actually real. If y'all want to go look that up, it's pretty cool. So getting to this last point here on the actual presentation is the story matrix. And the reason to share this is because there's different types of stories that there are. There's, as far as the types, there's success stories, there's failure stories, there's those fun stories, and those legend stories. And we do this every day. We do. We just haven't been trained correctly how to use these to benefit us in business and how to help advance our life. We all have success stories. We all have failure stories. We have fun stories and legend stories. I mean, you can pop on Facebook and people sharing, oh, I went and watched this movie and it was super awesome, blah, blah, blah. And someone spilled their popcorn. It was so hilarious, blah, blah, blah. They shared a story. They were selling right there. They were marketing for that movie, you know. And people, when they get promotions at jobs, they share it. Hey, I got promoted today. Great. They shared their success story. There's the failure stories, of course, and people here. The problem with failure stories, and I'm actually going to jump back to these in a minute, is they share these at the wrong time, and they share these in the wrong way. It's negative, and I'm sure you've seen this through social media and maybe in life in general. I say social media because that's where a lot of stuff goes on now. It's just negative, 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 and that's not how you want to do it. But I'm gonna get back to that. We're actually going to jump over to the legend stories real quick. And legend stories, those are basically, if you think about like your gurus, right? Let's take let's I don't know, Steve Jobs, for instance, right? He's a legend in business, right? He came from this nothing. He had this genius idea. He grew it. He failed out of his own company twice, got fired from his own company twice, and then came back and created one of the most awesome products in the world, right? He's a legend. Those are, and legend stories are something that all of us can share. Now, if I was to ask you, and I don't have and actually, if y'all want to jump over like on Facebook and message me, kind of answer me, if I was to ask you which one of these stories would be the most impactful to share with people to help you in your business, which one would you think it is? Oh, so yeah, okay. Yeah, most people they think success stories are the one, and that's not really the case. Success stories aren't really the ones that are going to impact people the most. It's not the ones that are going to hit them emotionally the most. It's actually the failure stories. If you think about it, those failure stories are super, super powerful when they're shared in the right way and at the right time, because it shows someone coming out of it. It shows someone who was at that point, and maybe they're at that point right now, and then they reached a new level of success, or they reached that fun level, or they reached even that legend status, which is awesome. So those failure stories, they're huge and powerful, impactful. You just got to know how to do it the right way at the right time, and that's something we know how to do, and we actually do teach people too. Now, moving on here, with it is actually, you actually have 5 categories also that go along with these. So if you basically, you've got your columns here, your 4 columns. If you want a picture underneath it, there's 5 categories. There's investment category, there's that hiring, or in our industry, sponsoring. There's the qualifications, and then the expectations. And what you got to think is, okay, with this person at this point, do I need to share with them a fun story to get this investment? Do I need to share with them the legend story? Do I need to share this success story to sponsor them? And then, failure stories, those are great to share to help people with expectations so they know, is this something that's going to happen overnight? Let them know the truth. Share that failure. Let them know what you did. And, you can share those stories at the right moments, in the right category to achieve what you're looking for. You just have to know how to do it. So, actually that right there, that's going to be the end of this, sales entrepreneurial training. So that's the basis of it for y'all to think about. Now let me close this out here real quick. Get back on camera. Okay. All right. So that was basically our training on the sales entrepreneurial selling. So like I said, it's a bit different. It takes a little bit of learning, but like I said, the great thing about it is it's a skill. It's a skill. You can learn it, and you can learn it, real quickly actually, if you get the right information, if you connect with the right people. And I don't if those buttons have actually, I don't know if those buttons have popped up below. If they haven't, I've actually got some buttons that should have popped up below the video. Not the most technically inclined person here, but you can we actually do have our boot camp and coaching that we are offering to teach you, how to do all that stuff, the right moment, the right time, teach you, what to share, how to share it, how to actually, and, make take your story and make it fascinating. And you'd be surprised. Your story, your true story, what you're doing right now, you can take the simplest of things and turn it into a fascinating story that will engage people and that will bring them in. Because if if you don't if you've never thought about it before, there's things that you're doing every day that other people don't get to do. So you're on a level that other people aren't. So you always have to remember that. So we do have that coaching available where we're going to show you that. And if you actually go ahead and get with our coaching today, with our boot camp, what we're going to do is, we do have a qualification process that you have to go through, and there's a limited amount of seats. I only have so much time. Like I said, I do qualify, like I presented earlier, because I've got 4 kids, I have a wife, and I want to spend time with them. So there is a qualification process. You're watching this, right now, and if you're going to take that action right now, I'm actually going to offer that to a discount for you. Typically, we do charge $600 for the coaching and the boot camp, but if you take the action right now, and you're one of those ones that get in and you do qualify up front, we're actually going to discount that for you, and we'll knock it down to $500 today for you right now if you do take the action. And we're going to teach you everything in full detail. We're going to walk you through everything that we went over today, and as some bonuses, we're actually going to show you how to actually brand yourself. We're going to actually show you how to build your own pages, what tools specifically that we're using. We're going to teach you all that, and how to do paid advertising, which is a huge, huge, huge deal, because most of these successful people online, that's what they do. And we're going to teach you the vendors that we use, and on top of it, we are going to teach you how to get that paid advertising for free. We're going to show you how to do that, and that's just a bonus on top of all that other stuff that we went through today. So if you click on that button, and for you guys that are already on my list, if it doesn't let you go through because that capture page has kind of been quirky on me, just message me on Facebook, and I will actually walk you through it. You can message me right now, and we'll get that set up for you. And then that other button down there, we do have our business that we work on our back end. So if you actually don't have a business right now that is available to you, you can check it out. And it's huge. You're going to earn huge commissions on that. So you can align with us on that too, and we're going to help you out. That's what we use. So everything would actually go hand in hand with the training. I'm actually going to bring Paulo out here real quick. Paulo is a guy that I have been working with. I've been learning from him. This dude's huge, man. Paul is super, super awesome. This dude, I've learned so much from him. He's actually created five figures in month, week, and I think he's done it in a day now. That's correct. I'll go ahead and if he wants to jump on here and let him share that with you.
Hey, what's going on, man? If you're watching this video right now, and I just want to let you know that Nick is just such an awesome guy. You know, the reason why you should get started with him is, the same reason why I decided to partner up with him. Because this guy has such a good his intention. His only intention is to help you succeed. And the truth is that there's so many people out there that kind of just take your money and they just run away. But him and his family, they're different. They're different. And if there's anything that there's not enough good things that there's just so many great things I can say about him. But if there's one thing, is if there's one person, if there's one thing that I can actually say about him and his wife, is that they truly, genuinely care about you. They genuinely care about you, and they want you to succeed. And that's really what kind of got me. That's kind of what got me to say, you know what, I actually want to work with this guy. I want to work with him. And that's probably what's getting you right now to say the same exact thing. So whether there's a button on the left or on the right or on the bottom, wherever the button is, just click on it, right? Fill out the application, okay, and then just get started, okay? Because let me tell you something. There's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of people who say they can help you. But the truth is that someone wants to really help you out when when they just truly, truly believe in you. And that's something that Nick and his wife are just great at. And they're just great people. And one thing that I can tell you is for the amount of information he shared with you and the amount of stuff that he's going to share with you even more on that coaching call, it's almost like, what are you really losing out on, except the fact that you're going to miss out on all of the information and all of the advice that he can give you that can potentially change your life. So click the button right now, fill out the safe and secure order form, and just get started. What do you really have to lose? I mean, you really don't have anything to lose except for the fact that if you don't click the button, then you may never get this opportunity, or better yet, never get as many bonuses as he mentioned. One thing I know about him is that Nick keeps his word. So, and that's a good thing for you, but it also can be a bad thing for you if you don't click that button right now and get started, because you may miss out on this opportunity that he may not present to you again. He may be busy, or he may not give you as many bonuses as he's giving you today. So click that button right now, guys. Get started with this guy, because I promise you, he's going to help you succeed. He's an awesome guy.
All right, yeah, thanks, Paulo. Hey guys, Paulo's a great guy, and actually his wife is super awesome too. Those two, the power couple, they're just something else. Uh, we've been learning from them. It's an amazing deal, and not just Paulo, his wife. She's made a huge impact, and she's an awesome woman too. Just both of them are awesome. So I thank you, Paulo, for sharing that and jumping on here for everyone to hear you. But anyways, yeah, like I said, that is the truth, guys. To be honest, I have realized throughout my life and throughout everything, my time is valuable. And yes, I am keeping my word on that because I do have a wife, I do have four kids, and I have a limited amount of time. And, I do want to spend most of it with them. But I have realized my purpose in life, and that is to help people. And then I actually figured out finally the avenue to do that with. So I'm doing that, and we are offering these bonuses right now if you take advantage for those first few who do qualify. So go ahead and click that button if you want to get those bonuses that we're going to share with you. The ad vendors that we use, the tools that we use. We're going to show you how to get your paid advertising for free. We're going to show you how to set everything up. We're going to walk you through. You're going to get that boot camp, and then you're going to have those coaching sessions with us. So go ahead and click on those buttons. Like I said, below the coaching, if you take advantage right now, if you're one of those first few, I'm actually going to discount it from that 600 that we typically charge to the 500. if, like I said, if you are on my list and that thing's quirky, just reach out to me on Facebook, message me, and we'll get you set up. If you get qualified, we'll get you in there. And also, if you don't have a business and you do need a business to offer, because you do have to have a product or service to offer to actually make money, go ahead and align with us. And I'll tell you what, if you do go ahead and align with us on the business, if you don't have an offer, or if you don't have an offer that's paying you, 70% plus, which you really need something like that to make the money that you need to make. If you jump in and you get on that gold or black level, if you do that right now, if you decide you need a business, and obviously if you don't have one, that's going to be the most important thing, because if you don't have one, you have no way of making money. If you do that and you jump on, you get to that gold or black level right now today, what we'll do for you is I will actually give you that coaching and all the bonuses that we talked about earlier. We'll go ahead and drop that coaching for you right now to $300 right now if you get that gold or black level. And that's just because you're an action taker. That's just because you're proving that you're someone that wants to invest in themselves, that truly wants to learn. Like I said, better is a book than a well-built house, and that's the type of people we're looking for. That's where we're qualifying. So if you do that, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you. So if you do that, if you get to that gold or black level, and what you need to do is go ahead and go through that, and then just message me on Facebook, and we'll go ahead and get that coaching set up, privately for you on that level. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I've actually got my son with me today. We're gonna go hang out a little bit before we go grab the other kiddos. It's Daddy Sunday. So we'll catch y'all next time. Bye.